Hey, what's up, Psycho? Always fun spending money on tools you already own, right? Hey, what's up, Jazz? Yeah. Yeah. One second. Yeah, it's just I find that tablets are just too small, man. You know, they're just too small for me. Are you talking more like a pen tablet? Were you talking about? Oh, you're talking about like drawing like on a Wacom tablet, right? Versus a screen. I mistook you. I see. Yeah, I'm not drawing on those, bro. You would just see like little sketches, like color pencil sketches with ink from me before I ever sat around drawing on a fucking Intuos pad. You know, like I'm not doing that. I gotta see my hand when I draw, bro. Like I don't understand that whole. It made sense for coloring. Like when I worked on T-shirts, it was fine. But like, um, I mean, like when you draw, you see your hand. I couldn't imagine not seeing my hand while I draw. Like, so weird. I had a friend in the art department once tell me the reason he didn't use his Cintiq was he didn't like seeing his hand when he drew. And I'm like, so you never draw when you go home? And he's like, I'm like, right. You're just talking about at work. Because if you actually drew and sketched, you'd be seeing your hand. No, this is just a commission. But I need to, they're not paying for this part, but I have to make certain that my digital inking, like, skills, I guess, for the lack of a better word, I have to keep doing it or I will lose it. Yeah, what's up, Usher? I wish just do nothing. Yo, what's up, June? I remember which one I had designed for this. Alright, so it's definitely. Nah, it's my Force Ghost. Hey, what's up, Brazil? Well, this notebook size of a Blu-ray case. I'm trying to practice gesture drawing. No, matter of fact, I would do small gestures and work up to big gestures. I used to use line paper, right, and then keep my college ruled line paper, and then keep my gestures like 3 lines tall, 5 lines tall, 2 lines tall. You can do them big, do them small. What you want to do is just be consistent, you know, and build like consistency and control while doing, motions and stuff. Where am I located? I'm in Idaho. Do I have any plans for any event? Nah, I don't go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere before COVID. I'm not going anywhere now. So this is the only place you will find me. This and social medias like Instagram. Hey, why don't I go anywhere? I don't go anywhere because I don't do well at conventions. They just cost me money. So why would I spend money to go to cons on top of like the travel and everything else? Like I don't doesn't make any sense. I don't do money at cons. I don't do well. Never have. I made money at one convention ever. And so that's a fluke. That was 2012.
Huh.
Yeah. And I bought my I bought my TV. I still have my 3D TV with that money. Plasma. Still going strong.
Well, that works.
Yeah, well, I still watch 3D. Did I ever see the Hyperlight Breaker reveal trailer? Yeah, it looked cool.
Hyperlight Breaker. Is that like the third one in the series now?
Something like that.
Okay. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. We watch a content impression that Who's there makes a little money? Oh, yeah, they don't. They tend, I mean, some pros do, but a lot of people make their money over multiple cons. So I don't. So maybe I'm just not good enough. It's probably it. It's probably because I'm just not good enough. No, what generally it is when you go to cons, you need like if you aren't an artist, like a well-known artist, if you're just like a like a person who's an independent artist, what you need is a million of everything. You
Mm-hmm.
need metal prints. You need every popular character. I'm not doing that. So that's literally what it is. It's like I go with my art and I would do commissions, but like I mean, I'd have 100 prints and I would still need 500 more. And so what that does is now you got all these artists there who are like they're producing a ton of work. How much of it's actually really fucking amazing? It's not. They're just producing a lot of work to cover all the. I'm not. I don't play to shows. That's not how I do my. I don't do that. So I make the stuff I make, and then
Yeah.
I don't rush through and create 700. Like I can imagine now. Here's the Spider-Man No Way Home. Here's all the three characters. Here's the WandaVisions and the. I don't have time for all that. This is not how I work. So you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Well, that makes sense to me.
have you ever tried enjoying the con itself? I grew up going to San Diego Comic Con, Richard, like in the '90s, and so none of these cons are like Comic Con in the '90s. So no, I don't
Yeah.
enjoy conventions now. It's a pale imitation of the con. It changed around 2001 after Spider-Man came out. Now they're like Hollywood cons. But the Comic
Yeah.
Con I grew up with was about comics and like indie artist alley was all about like your own book or your own designs and your own characters, what you
Yeah.
have new. There was no fan art. There would be one guy doing fan art, and it was usually like really hot chicks, you know, like lewd art, lewd fan art would be the thing. But the once the movies started in, people go and Comic Con broke into mainstream. The people going to con like to get souvenirs, right? And they want a souvenir of something they already know. So that means whatever's popular. And over time, it's just turned into here's all my fan art. So I can do fan art from here. I don't need to go to a con. Like, makes no sense. You know.
Yeah.
Do you know here in Brazil they just came out with '90s TMNT now? Wow, that's crazy, man.
They just came up with 90s TMNT now? Damn.
So some artists love it. I have friends that they do cons. They love this. I don't. So I used to go to find the next really cool thing. That's how I found. I mean, I have books like Bone Alley, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Yeah.
Um, you're not. I'm not gonna get that at a con now. You know. So whatever.
No. No, cons are very, very different now.
And so
Very.
in the mid 2000s, I could at least go to pitch books to editors. And I actually sold books that way, and that's how I got all of my freelance work in the beginning. But editors don't go to conventions anymore. They don't.
No.
So if the editors now they're on Instagram and DeviantArt and ArtStation looking for the next thing. They aren't going to cons to look for that. So I would love to meet the fans, but th- we're all just gonna have to hang out here, folks. you know, sorry.
Fucking knock it off. Just
And
fucking.
by the way, the food is cheaper here. So,
Much.
right? And you can drink. And if that's your thing, not my, but you can. And, like whatever. The last
Oh,
convention I did was 2016, 2017. And not only did I lose money, but all my fucking prints melted due to the heat on the way back. So
well, that sucks.
that Yeah, so that was it. I was done. At that point, I'm like, I'm out. I'm out this fucking thing. There's just no. It put me behind on deadlines. I had work to do, and so like I don't see the point of this, you know. Plus, I'm working the whole time. I have artist friends who are that whole time. They're like, man, we're gonna go out for drinks, and I'm not that dude, you know.
Well, it's
So
also if you got like a bunch of commissions that you got to do, you got to finish them up in your room. It's like you're
yeah,
drawing all night.
and so I literally am drawn out. And I used to take my wife for a couple years and thinking, well, we'll get a Vegas trip out of it or something. But then I have to fucking after we go out and get a nice dinner, I have to then sit up all night drawing.
Yeah,
Like there's just if I'm gonna leave my house, I'd rather just have a vacation, man. Like
yeah.
I
Last
was
couple.
invited to a con last year in Peoria, Illinois, which I thought would be great because Wayne's World.
Yeah,
But with COVID, I was like, I just can't do it. I apologize. And they would have paid for everything. At that point, I'm like, all right, but I figure I told them, I said, look, with if it weren't for COVID, I swear to God, this was before I had boosters and shit, or the shots and stuff. So I was like, I can't risk my life for a convention, like, so
yeah.
sorry. Remember a while back you posted some people critiquing your female proportions in your art. Do you still see? Yeah, I just don't care. Like, the thing about that wasn't my proportions in females. It's that the whole thing was this J. Scott Campbell. It was the J. Scott Campbell challenge, right? Like
Yeah, draw
redraw
it your
his
own
because
style.
people
Hmm.
were saying there was people on the left who were saying that he was drawing them too lewd or too sexualized or whatever. So he's like, draw it in your own style. And then when I drew my version, which I did, um, I just did something that I knew publishers wouldn't publish. I was just trying to do the version that I knew publishers wouldn't go for. And in doing so, I had people on the right saying I was censoring the character. And then I had people on the left saying that I was still making her too. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you all. Like fuck you all, dude. I got no patience for this. The only people that I'm not saying trying to impress, because I'm not trying to impress anybody. But the only critique I'm ever interested in hearing from are from people that like I would look up to, right? But you know, I'm not gonna say, but people that whom I look up to as artists, they buy my art. So when they're buying my art, I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like I just don't care anymore. Like I'm
Yeah.
not doing this.
Didn't
But
even
I
Campbell
caught.
like your
Mhm.
picture? I thought Campbell even commented like on
Yeah,
your.
he likes everything, but I mean, Tom
Fair.
McWeeny. I mean, Tom McWeeny is probably my favorite inker of all time after Bill Watterson.
Okay,
Okay,
I can get behind that.
specifically '90s Tom McWeeny before he fucked his hand up, so he can't do that shit anymore. Because
Right.
I could see why. Look at
Yeah.
the inks, and like Sam Keith, right? So
Oh yeah.
So Bill Watterson, Sam Keith, fucking Tom McWeeny, like right there, and he was like, "This is the best one. You're the one that actually fucking. This is out of all of them. This is the one that like you actually put work into this. This isn't just redrawing his art. You rethought the whole concept. It's its own thing. You know what I mean? The fucking
Yep.
inks are on point. Like, everything. So I was like, if Tom McWeeney's giving me props, then I'm fine. Like I've learned to just like I don't care about pleasing mass audiences. But if the challenge is draw it in your own style, and this is my own style, and you're telling me that my style shouldn't exist while simultaneously telling everyone that you're against cancel culture. Well, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah.
This is some weird political fucking game that I don't take any interest in. I'm just
Yeah.
about making cool art, man. Like fuck all these people. It was like one girl went out there on my Facebook and said, "You're sexualizing. This is disgusting." And I said, "Hey, man, like
You ever seen
proportions
like
aren't
that?
always." She said something about proportions, and so I said, "Hey, Calvin and Hobbes, Calvin's legs aren't proportionate. No one would have legs like that. It's a cartoon. I'm a cartoonist." And
Yeah.
then she goes, no one would sexualize Calvin's ass like that. It's disgusting. So then I just posted a picture of Calvin from the strip running naked. And you could see his
Yep.
ass because he used to run out the tub naked all the time.
Yeah.
And then she blocked me. And I'm like, yeah, good luck. Good luck with that fucking attitude. It's a bunch of, look, what this is my opinion as a 40, I'm 43 years old. So I would turn 44 this year. My opinion is this is like when people, when I was a kid, would give me art advice and they never fucking drew once in their life.
Yep.
You know, I used to tell the story. I was at my little brother was in here a couple streams ago. My little stepbrother, and
Oh
we
yeah.
were at a family function of his, right,
Hmm.
and his family, and I was drawing this character flying. It was my own stupid character, super buff man, right? 'Cause I, it was like super Megaton man, right? Like it was like
Yeah.
that. It was like a goof, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm drawing his character flying upside down, so I rotated the page because I had a hard time
Having
seeing it
this
upside down. Yeah, and then his uncle comes in, this
Mhm.
older guy, got to be in his like pushing 70, comes in there and goes, "Hey, a real artist would never have to turn, the page upside down." And I was like, "Shit." And they had told me this guy, had color pencils and he drew, and I'm like, "All right." So he didn't, by the way. And so, you know, and so, I'm struggling, right, with this fucking drawing. 2 days later, I live in San Diego, and we have this channel 4, channel 5, which comes out of LA. It's called KTLA. That's where all the footage of the riots from the 90s come from, or the OJ footage comes from KTLA.
Mm.
And so on Saturday morning, they would play these Popeye cartoon reruns. And they would have an animator sitting at a desk talking about how they animated Popeye. It was a really cool little bit. And he's sitting at an animator's table and he rotates the fucking animator's board because it's a circle that rotates. And it's like, yeah, and I'm over here and I'm turning it. And you constantly turn the wheel to kind of get the angle that you need. So you're always doing these swoopy motions with your arm and not your wrist. And I was like, oh, you do rotate the fucking.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So this is all a bunch of people who just, that sometimes, man, people have dreams of doing something. And then when they see someone actually doing it, they got to chime in, you
Yeah.
know? Like, and so I just realized this is the internet version of that. Even if they're artists, like they're or whatever they think they are as artists, they illustrate. Like to me, like an artist, whether they illustrate or paint or make music, to me they're about creating emotion. When someone tells me something's technically off, dude, technically it doesn't work. The proportion, that's a technical. I'm making an artistic choice, not a technical choice. So when I get technical advice from people, I already know how to draw technically perfect. I don't give a shit. You go do that. But an artist creates with emotion, not with
Yeah.
technical shit's for fucking doing math. All right, like heart surgery. I don't want a heart surgeon operating with emotion. I want a heart surgeon operating with technical shit. You
I'm just
know?
gonna say after if my surgeon was operating with emotion the other day, I probably would have had a much different outcome. So
Yeah. Well, that's the Muppet Show when they're in the surgery.
yep.
The surgery skits. You know.
Dr. Bob
So when
says
someone tries to tell me about technical shit, I just, man, I just mute them now. Honestly, I just mute them because I can't have a 3 second conversation on the internet trying to explain this to people. As for cons, you might do well. You might do well. But if you're not doing well, don't keep going. It's pointless.
last con I went to was in 2018, and I just don't have the energy. So I mean, I might go and hang out with a friend who's at a con or something like that, but I can't do those anymore. I can't go through the hell of everything.
Yeah, I have friends that do quite well at cons. I don't do well. And I think, I don't know why that is. I think with the way I draw, like, the more cartoon you go, the less mainstream you're going to be.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. Mainstream folks, that you're appealing to mainstream sensibilities. And, when I draw a certain proportion, I'm asking folks to go on a creative journey, right? But some people, the majority of people out there don't have that ability to do so. You know, they just
Yeah.
don't. And I've been dealing with that my whole life, So it's fine.
I mean, I want to go more stylized with my art. So, and I don't really care about working for mainstream comics or anything. So, let alone I don't think I have the
It
energy.
doesn't even have to do about being in mainstream comics. Like a lot of that could just be the editor. You know, you'll get picked
Oh,
up.
that's
The
true.
problem is just half the time they're playing to. It's funny, man. They always tell me we're playing to an older audience, but then why do you keep trying to? I don't fucking know. It's just weird. Let's
Yeah.
say I've been doing draws on YouTube and now playing games. Okay, there you go. Diversify. Always good to diversify the portfolio.
Yep.
I'm just trying to make the kind of art that 15-year-old Rob wanted to make, and I didn't have the ability. It took me a long time to get to. So when I
Yeah.
see this Donatello, I'm not like, man, look at that. I made the handbag. I'm not even thinking like that. I'm just thinking like, I've never seen this. This is what I always wanted to see,
Yeah.
you know? So I'm just creating. It's weird. It's like I don't buy like I can't buy anything anymore. Like it's very like I'm when I mean buy anything like how do I say this? The things that I create inspire me a little bit more than the things that I already own everything I've ever wanted to own in terms of art reference or comics and stuff. So
Hmm.
unless something new comes out or the new issue of Savage Dragon or something really cool comes down the pike, for the most part it's like the little high I would get from buying something inspirational really just comes from when I make something now. And that was a weird position to find. I hit that about maybe honestly I probably didn't hit that until like this year.
I hit that
Like
a couple of years ago myself.
no, I didn't hit that until this year. So I see someone said the other day, they're like, something's changing here. I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured out what I'm doing now. Took me a long time. Wish I saw more cartoony stylized, was given the budget. Really is sick finding. The animation on the new TMNT cartoon is fantastic.
Yep.
My only gripe is they went character design looks like Jim Lawson's designs, and Jim Lawson is my least favorite Turtles artist of all time. He's a fantastic illustrator, gets shit done. I just I
I
don't
don't
like
like
Jim
that
Lawson's
either.
art. Yeah,
I don't
and
really. Yeah.
I haven't said it to him, but I was just like I just told him I said the only thing he ever did that I really liked was he did the finishings on the TMNT movie adaptation, the first one at least.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and the first one was all done. He probably did all of them, but the first one, all the breakdowns were Kevin Eastman.
Yep.
So that blend kind of, and he was finishing in a way that was similar to Kevin's work. So it was really good. But yeah, he took over those books. Even the reboot in 2012, 2011, I don't know,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, 2005. I can't remember what year that was. Might have been 2005. 2005, there was a reboot. Sorry. Yeah, he took over that when they killed Splinter, which people forget about. And it's my least favorite Turtles art. So it's just a
Mhm.
shame. But
Yeah.
the animation's great. Hmm?
They've killed Splinter a few times.
I know,
Uh,
but that was the whole crux of the first like issue. It was like, look,
yeah.
he's dead by taken out by a sniper rifle. I was
Yeah.
just mad. I was like, really? We're doing this shit? Like, I stopped
Yeah.
buying the book. I was like, I don't care where they're going with it. I'm not in the mood. I mean, it was funny. I got a buddy of mine started drawing that book, Scott Cohn, and we were both posting on this site called Sketchbook Sessions. It was Shane Glenn Sketchbook Sessions, and that's where Cheeks got noticed. A lot of artists that came out at that time.
Yeah. It's got a young
Um,
sheets, and there are a
yeah,
few. Yeah.
all that lead heavy stuff came out of Sketchboard Sessions.
Yep.
Mark Brooks, all those, and John Boy. And so like I was right there, um, and Scott. I was posting this turtles art with these big turtles. Like there was this animation that was being developed at the time called El Cid, and they're these giant like characters. And I was like, oh, this is a really big kind of art style. I don't know how to describe it. They were just big. And I was like, wouldn't that be fun to draw turtles like that? So I did. And everyone was like, this is totally different. And then Scott said, hey, would you like to come on and draw like a backup story on turtles? I'm like, hell yeah. And he was like, there's no money. I'm like, I don't care, dude. And old Peter Laird was like, your turtles are too big. Can't draw them like that. But then it was just like It wasn't like give it a second shot. It was just like
Nope.
you're just done. So I found it hilarious given how 10 years later the Bay Turtles
Michael
came
Bay,
out.
yeah, the Bay Turtle.
And I'm like, they're bigger than what I was doing. Like, that is hilarious, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm certain Peter Laird didn't much like that interpretation. But I didn't like that interpretation. I agree with him to an extent.
Mm.
Um, but I just think making them muscular is the thing that I wouldn't do. But whatever. Who am I to argue about the co-create with? But this is why Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird argued, probably.
Yeah.
So I've already been turned down by my heroes. Like when you look at it, I'm like, I've been told no by everybody, So it's like, all right, you know. But I've had a lot of wins too, so it's like I just always think as long as you're impressing the little version of you that got so inspired by other people's art that they wanted to make art, then like that's like the thing that I chase. Took me a long time to get there. It might take you less, but I know it took me a long time to get there.
Yeah. I want to
A
turtle
lot of those
spray.
guys that sorry, a lot of those guys that worked on El Cid ended up forming SPA Studios that did Klaus, by the way.
Hmm. That
So
was a cool thing.
if you're wondering, does Rob have the eye? Yeah, I got the eye. You know, I can recognize talent way in advance. Like so, a lot of the designs I used to do in T-shirts would sell 2 years after I conjured them up. You know, and then become big sellers. But when I did them, it was like, why are you doing this? This doesn't make any blah 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 blah. Like, all right. Yeah, Klaus. Klaus is amazing. So a lot of those guys went on to work on Klaus. Just saying. Just saying. you know. I've always if you don't have the technical ability, right, and the artistic ability, have a good eye. You know? Have good taste. If you want a really good conversation about this sort of thing, Jerk Comics put up this 2-part interview with Kelly Jones last week and the week before. Highly recommend Kelly explaining exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I was like, man, I wish he had broken that conversation down to me at Comic Con in the '90s. You know?
I just pulled up some of the El Cid stuff because I'm like, I remember that. Looking, yeah, they were huge.
Yeah. But I was just like, it just looks different. Like I'm not. That's when I had to learn the difference, between someone who's in wrestling they call it a jobber, someone who's there to help continue what is going on, and
Yep.
like an artist, right? Someone who's there to like create a different vibe. And then it was like, well, why should you be the one? Why do you care? You're like, then don't fucking hire me. I don't care. I'm not so great. I'm not so interested. You know, it's not about that. Like I'll hear is you think you're so good, you can do come up. No, I don't. I'm just not interested in creating something that, like, I didn't care about Marvel comics at all. When I was a kid until like I started seeing like Bill Sienkiewicz's art. You know, the first time I saw something that I was like, what is this? And then obviously Todd and them, but like it was just like that 60s John Romita clean brush shit. I don't care about that. Like, you know, it looks so
Yeah.
manufactured. I would rather read political cartoons or comic strips, not for the content, but for the art, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, do I make a living drawing commissions? I make a living doing concept art and video games, but what happens is like that money goes up and down. So, like, right now I'm in the downside, so when I'm on the downside, always save your money, and then I draw commissions, you know? And then, or I just sell art. Honestly, man, I make more money just selling art than drawing commissions. The commissions is like I do it because like fucking people always go they get bummed out if I say I don't do commissions. I tried that one. They take it personal. So the problem with commissions is people fucking if I'm on a turtles kick, someone will be like, oh draw no draw me Silverhawks. I'm just like, which one? Well, like the third rung boss I always wanted to see in your like in the style. I'm like, I don't. What does that have to do with me drawing turtles right now? That's a literal conversation I had with someone like a week ago. You know, I said, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do that." Sorry. Well, my money's right here, man. Yeah, keep it. You know, invest that shit. Like, you know, I'm not doing that. Sorry. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not because I'm better. It's because like that would throw I do one, then I gotta draw the whole fucking thing. You know,
Yep.
people don't deal with that. So if I'm gonna do random shit, I can do random shit on my own. I don't know why I need you to pay me for it. Like I don't, I'm not quite getting that theory. You know. So, I go people I got money right here, man. I'm like, I'm not a stripper, so I don't know like. I mean,
You're
not to
not.
knock strippers, but that's a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a performer here. I'm not looking for your fucking tips. You know, dick. Like, it's a dickish move, man. Tell me about your money. Well, how much we talking about here? 10 grand? I'll draw that shit. You know, couple $100? No.
Couple hundred grand, most definitely.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking real money. Fuck, I'll draw it. You know, but like, what are we talking about here? Like,
Let's
we're doing this shit.
let's get an escrow service set up. You can put it in there. All right, there we go.
Yeah. No, I'll pay you money to shut the fuck up. So whatever, man. Like it's just like anything else, an art career. Like it's about doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, finding out what works for you, but always kind of like if you don't constantly like jump between a couple different things, people will get bored with what they see. Once they find you, then they'll be like, "Oh, you're doing that thing again." And it's like, "All right." So like I'm always like jumping between two or three different types of things just to keep it interesting. Doesn't help the algorithms. The algorithms don't like that. They want you to do one thing for fucking ever. I don't. That algorithm changes, but people are people. So I just don't care about the algorithm.
I hit that stupid button accidentally in my Wacom and has to bring up all the damn monitor crap.
But if you're wondering, like, did I start off just always doing commissions and make? No, I generally always had a real fucking job. Um, when I first started doing my freelance work, I was actually in college. the college had this whole like promise that they were gonna like help with job placement, and I didn't believe any of their fucking lies. So I started freelancing. Um, and that first involved doing caricatures, like going to like birthday parties and shit, and then that turned into like um, doing like uh, characters, storyboard cleanup for a while, stuff like that, and then that turned into working at a t-shirt company while I was still going to college. So I was doing full-time t-shirt designs, which I had never done before, nor was I into clothing. But I was like, "You use Photoshop every day?" Yep. Okay, that's creative. So it beats working at Kinko's. So you know, and then once I graduated college, I was still in that job, and then I was doing t-shirts and then like comic work at night. So I'd come home and then I would stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning doing comic work, and then that turned into a gig working for video game magazines, doing comics for this video game magazine and working on the magazine, doing cover art, and then the fucking economy crashed in America, and that just
Fucked
changed
everything up.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just changed everything. So it's just there's no easy way to do any of this. So I've gotten some big wins, but you got to save your money, folks, when you do get a big win. So if you can, but it's hard. I mean, things are getting more expensive every fucking year.
Yeah.
So
Tell me about
until there's a real revolution that stops that fucking shit, I feel bad. Like I had to, we're going over my prints yesterday, right? And
it.
like, I had to raise the prices by $10 today on everything.
Oh
Not
God.
I wanted to because every fucking week the shipping rates change now.
Yep.
Like last week it was a certain amount and then it went up 10 fucking dollars. And I was talking to my fucking I'm like, is this going to go up anymore? And they're like, "Well, you got to fucking like let us know, you know, cuz I need some consistency here." But then I'm like, that's the way it is. Anyone asked you for Elden Ring commission? No, and I wouldn't take one. I'm not interested. I love the game. It's just I don't see that being. I did this Warcraft commission based off someone's character, and all that does is soothe their fucking ego, you know. So, um, Elden Ring fans ain't looking for my fucking thing. I have no interest in it. So, love the game. I'm watching Mage Master 22 play through it, so I don't have to. But I'm not against it. It's just I don't have the time right now.
Right.
I'm still playing Demon Souls.
Fair.
Like, I don't. I gotta finish what I buy. So
Yeah, I haven't gotten Demon Soul yet, so
it's like someone had me do this commission years ago for what was that Drizzt, right?
just Jordan.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like that. That just that just ain't my audience ain't there. So the person who wanted that, then it's on eBay. You can buy it if you want it right now, but they're trying to sell it for what I charge to make it. I'm like, no one's gonna pay $400 for that, bro. It's 11 by 17, full Copic marker with the pencils and shit. But um, like there's not enough of the Drizzt audience ain't looking for my interpretations of Drizzt. You see what I
No.
mean? Like,
They're looking for
you,
Larry Elmore.
yeah, yeah.
They're
So
looking
like
for
you
media
got
creators and stuff, and like people would want Dave Finch's version of Drist. So no ego.
or Max Dunbar, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
someone who's taking it all serious and shit. Like,
Yeah.
so if I did that sort of thing, I'd have to do it on my own, sell it separately, and then it would go in a sketchbook or something.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
what
only
Dave
way
Finch is
that
doing.
works.
Just
Yeah.
put it in a sketchbook.
But taking it as a commission would be pointless to me. Like, I'm really wary about commissions these days, like because like people just have this expectation. Like I did this TMNT commission for someone and then after the fact they hit me up and go, "Is it normal for you to be selling prints based off my commission?" I'm like, "This is a professional asking me this shit." Right? And I'm like, Not only is it normal, here's the actual fucking rate I charge you if this were for Nickelodeon. It would have been 5 grand. You know? So you
Yeah,
know. You know what I mean? If you think you're getting somehow fucking ripped off or something, give me the fucking art back. You know? He said, no,
yeah,
no, 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 I'm cool. I just was just wondering. No, you weren't just wondering. You're being a dick. Like, I didn't call him out, but I was just like, why is it totally fucking normal? I'm giving everyone, I get my commission rates. They're super fucking affordable. And I do it for a reason. Like, so I don't have the same 5 fucking people getting commissions, you know?
yep,
And like, that's what will happen is the tech bros will show in and then they'll just have you draw. Now I'm working for a tech bro. I can't get a normal fucking person getting a piece of art so they can have up in their house. I got to deal with fucking tech bros or celebrities fucking eating up all the fucking time, you know? Like, but I turn everything. You're not commissioning me for. He's like, well, what if I spent money so you wouldn't? I'm like, all right, 20 grand, 20 grand, and I'll never fucking produce another ounce of it.
yeah.
That's how much it would cost. All right.
Yeah, it's like with anything that I do for a commission, I always tell people I have the right to sell prints and everything.
I don't tell them shit. This isn't a fucking contractual agreement. You want me to draw some shit? I'll draw some shit.
Oh, I'm
I'm
just
not having that conversation with folks. Cause then I feel
well,
like I'm on the defensive. Like I have to explain, like there's a contract, like a fucking EULA, every time we do something in this fucking country.
it feels
I'm not
that
mad
way.
at you. I'm just saying it angers me to hear it because it's like, yeah, everything's a fucking contractual agreement now. Fuck that. Like if you don't understand how this works, then bugger off. Seriously, you're an
Yeah,
idiot. Like not you, but
I,
figuratively these people. Like.
I know what you mean. It's just something that I found that it diffuses the situation immediately. It's like,
No,
yes,
it
I'm very
doesn't, because just look at some
responsible.
fucking asshole who doesn't listen to anything you say, and they go, "Well, I still thought." How many times have you done that? How many times have you done a commission, Allison, and you've been like, "I don't do this," and then they're like, "How come you don't do this?" And you're like, "I told you I don't do that.
Okay,
I
yeah,
thought
I've
you were
gotten that a
gonna
lot.
do this."
I've
Yeah,
definitely gotten
yeah,
that a lot.
yeah. Or why'd you make the turtles look stupid? Well, that's what I do. I make stupid art. You know,
Yep, buy my stupid art. It's literally right
what's
there
up,
in the
man?
URL.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fucking moron. That's why. Like,
Oh God, we're a pair. Oh, have you seen the Batman yet?
yeah, I saw that opening day.
Okay, I thought you
COVID
did.
rates were
I
low
wasn't
enough in
positive.
this area that I
Yeah,
went
it's already
to it
opening day as well.
the very first showing. I went full Riddler though. Like I masked the fuck up.
Oh yeah, I was masked up and everything when I went. But then again, for me not to wear a mask is stupid. So,
Yeah.
oh, I
But
mean,
yeah, I
I
saw
even
it.
have the
It's fine.
additional stuff, the additional defenses for the immunocompromised people. I still mask up.
Yeah, it is fine. It's just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's a cool universe. I could see leaving the fucking Blu-ray on and shit. But it's
Yeah,
just like, how many more years we gotta wait to get more of this shit? What, another 4 or 5 years? It's
easily.
just, yeah, it's just frustrating because it's like, it's Batman. I should have a Batman movie every 18 months or every other year, and in between I should have a TV series. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
like the
it's
same
Batman.
actors, same universe.
Yeah, because it's
Like
Batman.
that's how I've yeah,
They
yeah,
should do it.
because
They
it's
should do it
fucking
like Star Wars at most. So it's like 2 years in between, you get them another movie, another Batman.
but here we are like, hey man, maybe the next movie they'll figure out how to turn Mr. Freeze into a serial killer. Like, all right, man, I'll get excited when there's clay faces and fucking, Alice in Wonderland weird trippy shit. I just don't know. I just don't know. It's like
Oh, I'd love the
for
Mad
some
Hatter. That'd be
reason
great.
I'll have real hard to see where Batman is in the GC. Yeah, all of it's cool, man, but it's just like I'm not. There's gonna be 15 fucking Marvel movies in between now and then. Like,
Yep,
so whatever. Let me
that's
ask
with
you while
Marvel.
listening, are you changing the strokes? No. I mean sometimes, but I don't know what you mean changing the size of the brush. Sometimes.
I don't know. I'm guessing he meant pressure sensitivity. Just the pressure you're using? I mean, you
What do you
use
mean by
lazy Nezumi,
changing the
right?
strokes?
That's the only thing I can think of
I'm
is
adjusting line weights. Yeah,
yeah, that's
I'm
what I'm.
not. I'm not a guy who does the line weight in one bit. I tend to go over it and push and pull.
Yeah, and you use lazy Nezumi to help out with it, right?
A little bit. Sometimes it's off, and I don't even know. That's
Mm.
the weird. That's where I go. Is this smoothing thing just in your fucking brain? Like, because I got the other day I was working, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna turn the smoothing down, and it was off. So sometimes Photoshop just gets jittery for some reason, but like the brushes I use now, this is gonna sound weird, but like when I'm inking, I'm kind of inking in the center of the brush. It's hard to describe. Like I'm really kind of using the center of the brush, so
You're not
I'm not
using
using
the
the whole. I'm not using the edges. Yeah,
yeah.
so it doesn't have to be so perfect. Just watch Under the Red Hood again. It's fine. But again, those cartoons annoy me because it's like it should be part of one animated universe. Every fucking DC animated movie is totally different. So brand new universe that all vaguely the same. Like okay, so just don't care.
They did try for a
It's
little
not
bit,
for me.
but
It's
it
not for me, guys.
yeah.
I need a consistent like the animated series from the '90s. They were all tied together, you
Mhm.
know. Until Justice League came along, then it was like, well, sort of, but not really. I was like, all right, so it sort of was, but not really tied together. Now everything's a new Batman. Every time you turn it on, it's a new Batman. It's a new Batman universe. Every fucking movie's a new Batman universe, and I'm like, I can't deal with 7 billion fucking Batmans. Like, find one you want to stick with for a while, and then produce a lot of content for that. I'll
Mm.
start giving a shit. But until then, I don't care. You know, it's like they came out with those Batman Year One animated series that don't look a fucking thing like Mazzucchelli's artwork.
No.
Then I'm like, then I don't give a shit. Like at the end, they played the credits, and at the end, it had all the Mazzucchelli fucking looking stuff, and I'm like, why doesn't this whole thing look like that?
Yeah,
Or like
exactly.
when they did Long Halloween, and it don't look anything like Tim Sale's art,
Doesn't look
then
like
I'm
Tim
not
Sale.
interested. Yeah, it doesn't have to look like Tim Sale's art if they were adapting Long Halloween for a Batman animated series universe, right? Or any
Right.
universe they were con. But when they're like, this is the adaptation minus
Of
the
the
art,
long
then I'm
Halloween.
like, yeah, then like,
No.
well, then what's the fucking point? Like,
No, the point of Long Halloween was you get Tim Sale's awesome artwork.
yeah, no man, it's the story. Oh, I'm not. Go read a book. Like, I read books. Books are great. Read those fucking things if you don't want the
I
art.
read about 100 a
But
year. So, yeah, definitely go read a
that's
book.
too many books, Allison. Read
No,
less
it's not.
books.
No,
You
no,
know,
it's not.
it's too many. You can't appreciate that book when you're reading 100 of them.
I used to read more. I slowed it down.
Eh, eh, everyone has their favorite whatever, but I just whatever. Don't get me started on Batman v Superman. I worked on those shirts. It's frustrating. It's frustrating watching a guy invoke Dark Knight Returns and then completely fucking not do it. Like it's so weird.
Yeah, no, it's. I was annoyed by that. I'm like, just do Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, but it's like he really has been Batman this whole time, or he wasn't Batman this whole time. We don't know. Okay, all right, whatever that is. I imagine the studio has a lot to do with that too.
Yeah, studios interfere with everything. So, yeah. That's looking good.
Oh, thanks. I gotta do the texturing. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck I did something. How did I do that?
I
I'm
hate it
looking
when
at
that
some shit I did, and I'm like, what? Because this is the problem I have when I don't do this shit for a while. I'm like, how the fuck did I? I didn't record it, so
Oh, that sucks.
it happens. It's one of these fucking things.
How were those Batman versus the Predator? The old comics from the 90s?
Yeah, the Adam Kubert ones.
Yeah,
Someone was
that's right.
supposed to draw that originally, and they turned it down. I can't remember who it was. It was a
Well,
big name. I was like shocked by it.
Wrightson did
Anyways,
the Alien Superman one. That was cool.
yeah, but Kevin Nolan inked it, and then he gives everyone Kevin Nolan lips.
Yeah,
Like Kevin Nolan's a good inker, but anytime he inks something, he has to be like, "Here's Kevin Nolan lips." I can't stand his fucking lips. The way he draws lips, like it annoys the shit out of me.
yeah. No, I can
I'm
definitely
like,
agree with that.
did he do it this time without the weird fucking lips?
Probably. I'd have to look. Uh, yeah, the Batman versus Predator comics. Those were, I think they were fun. I mean, they were
Yeah,
90s.
I loved them when they came out. It was one of those ones that shocked me.
Hmm.
I finally went to a comic. My mom moved to Poway, and there was this arcade, and next to it was a comic shop. I was like, fuck, I've never seen a comic shop, so I was like, finally I can go to one of these things I've always dreamt about. And they had the Batman v Predator thing on the front. And somehow, for some reason, she bought it for me, and that was a rarity for my mom. So I was like, all right. So
I was down in Virginia in the early 90s for a little bit because my dad had a potential job down there with a phone company. Gotta Google Kevin Nolan lives real quick. Uh, but the and I remember there was this comic book store that I went into, and that's where I saw like it was an Akira graphic novel that was basically like almost like a cell for cell shots of the animated movie. This huge book. And I was like flipping through it. I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah, I bought that. Uh, that was the coolest comic shop I ever went to. I can't say anything else nice really about Virginia. So,
I had decent sushi there once. That was about it.
mm.
I went down to Mythic Studios back in 2008.
What book for what movie? Oh, it was Akira.
Yeah, they were printing them in color at the time here. Steve Olive
Yeah.
was on that one.
Yeah, this wasn't the epic ones. This is literally the movie adaptation.
The
And
movie.
it was just
With the
amazing.
scenes from the movie. The
Yeah,
scenes
it
from
was
the
all
movie.
scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
And they were incredibly high quality. I mean, I have all of Akira, so love the art. Didn't really understand the story. I don't think
Because
anyone understood
it's not
Akira.
meant to be.
Yeah,
It does. Well, no, you understand it when you read the fucking manga.
yeah. The manga is
Like,
the that tells you
because
everything.
that's the story. The movie's like an impression.
Yeah, the
It's
movie doesn't even get through the first 10 issues of the manga.
well, they said they started working on that series years ago, so hopefully in a
Yeah,
year or two that'll be ready to go. It demands an actual series, like
yeah. It does.
Nausicaa. Like you can't possibly understand Nausicaa with the movie. It's just the
No,
first quarter of the first book. Like it's
yeah. It's part of the first arc and doesn't even really go into any of the real stuff. Like the characterization of Nausicaa changes way too quickly in the anime versus the manga. Uh, yeah, Nausicaa, I'd love to have an actual series of. Kind of think that when he did the Princess Mononoke, he's like, yeah, okay, I'm doing more of a Nausicaa thing here. So
it's my Lord of the Rings. I read it once a year for the last 20 years.
I can definitely get behind that. I did like Patrick Stewart's dubbing in the English translation
I
for what
don't like any English translations.
Gupo.
The the only English dub they kind of did that I can tolerate is Porco Rosso because Michael Keaton does a
Mm.
good job as Porco Rosso. Um,
Well,
and I
I
guess
tend.
Phil Hartman as the cat on
Oh,
Kiki,
that
but
was
that's
great,
about it.
Kiki's.
Yeah, that's
I
about it.
tend to watch one of them each time, then I just go with the Japanese one permanently. So I don't mind the English dubbing on Modern OK, but then again, Gaiman wrote the script. I was listening to him talking about how he wrote that. He goes, "Yes, I wrote this amazing, wonderful script. If only they move their mouth one more damn time."
Yeah, well, he can go complain about English animation.
I just found it funny. He was joking.
I know, but people people don't actually. It's always truth to a joke,
Yeah.
Allison. Always there's always truth.
And brushes that you're using.
Huh?
Brushes that you're using.
Oh, I don't know. This came from Grub Brushes.
Mm.
Grub Brushes has some cross hatching brushes. I'm kind of forgetting now where half of them come from. Like I just buy so many, and then
Oh
these
yeah.
days I've stuck with quite a few. Most of them are Kyle's, but there's just so many. I rename them, so I couldn't fucking
No, well, that's true.
yeah, because I can't remember their names. So I have to name them like
Name
my
stuff that you
own way.
remember.
Yeah, basically it.
Yeah, because that gives a cool. That gives like a cool, almost miragey kind of effect on the shell.
Yeah.
You ever draw the turtles with their tails?
Yeah, they got little dicks. I didn't like that when I was a kid in terms of being called out on it. I was like, no, they're tails, but I never got the end of it.
Uh,
So
I say look at their
compromise,
poop. So,
my compromise is, I'll show you. It's hard to see on this pose, but what I do is, on their shells, I do this. So when you see them from this side,
yeah,
underneath the shell would
it
come around
hangs
here.
back a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it creates the same effect without. So it's there. It's just his arm is covering it.
yeah, that's cool. First sketch was in pencil. I think this is all digital to begin with.
Oh no, it was digital. First sketch looked like this,
Yeah, some weird ass toes.
and then I went to this, and now we're doing this. I forget how I did some shit, so I'm trying to just remember.
Oh, making like the highlight?
No, I erase around edges and shit.
Yeah, that's
Okay, could we actually do? Thank you. This thing is supposed to turn any brush you're using into an eraser,
yeah.
and sometimes it just doesn't work right away.
Mm.
It's like it fucks with you a little bit. So like I feel like I'm erasing, but I'm drawing with white. I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, Clip Studio has a similar thing to do that with.
Do I draw in pencil? Yeah, yeah. If you go on my YouTube channel, Nakashima, if you go on my YouTube channel, you're gonna see everything. And
Yeah.
under real time art, or even sweet art, you'll see pencils, inks, color pencils, watercolor. You'll see everything.
Yeah, Rob does it all.
So, um,
And I hang out.
but none of this really kind of matters, the, because like at the end of the day, uh, I just try to get to the final product as quick as possible these days. So yeah, I still draw in pencil. I don't really sketch in graphite. I never liked it, so I tend to sketch in just pens. So,
I like sketching with ballpoint pens.
um, but I mean, sometimes I feel, oh, it just depends. My son's speaking Portuguese. Can we game? Oh, nice.
Nice. You
Game
said
from
you're
the
in.
Philip.
You said you was in Brazil, right? Nakashima, you're in Brazil. So I know
Yeah,
they have a
yeah.
very,
There you go.
yeah, they have a high Japanese
Filipino,
culture.
all that stuff.
Yeah, 4-3-2s with the blobbies. Hmm,
Yeah, yeah. My cousin, her mom was from Okinawa, and so I grew up with like they were great. It was my favorite time was at their place. I called her Aunt Maggie, but that was she was somewhat religious, so that was like her religion. I don't know. She was like, my Japanese name is this. I'm like, you told me that like 2 years ago. I've known you my whole fucking life. Like, too late. I'm sorry, Maggie. You can't flip that one on me now. You know.
oh, he started a toy company there. Huh, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, one of my former employers was a company called ODM, and Tony, the guy who owned it, was from the Philippines, and they
Hmm.
built a lot of villages out there with the proceeds from the company. Which was like, that's awesome. No, give me a bonus at the end of the year too, because I live in Southern California, Tony. And I don't know if you're aware, it's expensive.
It's a little bit.
Yeah. And then after the bonuses, we'll build all the villages you want, buddy. I smell tax write off.
The bonuses, we got to talk about the bonuses.
But as a kid, like my cousin, they would go to the Sanrio shops in these
Mm.
like there was Japanese only stores that I fucking would love it. Like I loved I was able to. That's how I found Trans Manzinger Z, and all that stuff. Like,
I just watched something on Zingersy like yesterday on Toy Galaxy. They were talking about it, and like the
Oh
boob
yeah.
missile. Yeah, it's
Oh, the
fucking
boob missiles were great. Yeah, his
cool.
fist came off and her boobs flew off. It was
Yep.
it was it was great. It was
I was like,
fantastic.
I remember this.
But it was that glider he had that like blew my mind.
Yeah,
That was the thing that
that was kind of cool.
yeah. So anytime I saw anything with like wings, I was like, "This is fucking the best ever!"
No, it's like one of my
Yeah,
favorite spaceships is the God Phoenix from Gatchaman. I just love the look of the thing.
looks a little too much like a bird though. Like it needs wings, but I don't like the beak.
Oh yeah,
I think
it's
yeah,
called the
the
God
beak
Phoenix,
is
so yes, it have a beak.
yeah, it has a beak, right? Like
Kind of, yeah. There's a
yeah, I guess
point.
that's how I saw it. I saw it as a beak. I'm like, fucking beaks. I know it's stupid, right? But look, every kid, you have opinions. That's why when someone doesn't dig what I'm doing, I'm like, I get it. I got opinions too.
Yep.
You know, like
Yeah, I just loved
and now turning. I've been living in Japan. Oh, nice. My buddy Zoo lives in Japan, in Tokyo with his girlfriend. By the
something like
way, beta's still going on for Berserk Boy this weekend. Get in while you can. It's free. Open beta. Oh,
Nagoya,
Nagoya.
Japan.
Nice. Yeah, we were supposed to go take our Japan trip right before COVID hit. So I got my regular Boxu subscription. So
Oh, I thought you made me
I'm
an
gonna ship.
admin so I can remove the spam. Oh,
Oh, I gotta make you an admin. One second. Let me. How do I do that?
or
Let me
moderator or
figure that
something.
out. Let me figure that out right now. How
Figure
do
it out
I
later. It's not a big deal.
edit name? No, that's not it. How do you do that in Restream? Oh, I'll do it.
No big deal.
Add to block list.
Did you block me?
No.
Okay. Restream just acted a little weird on my side for a second there.
No, they're not even on the same. This would be in the chat.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
on the far
It's in
left.
Twitch. But yeah. And because we live there, we aren't in Japan anymore. Well, I could kind of respect that if you're living there.
Of course. Like when people say, "Man, when you coming back to California?" I'm like, "Fucking never." So, like the only reason now is because of Jason. I'm like, "God damn it, Jason!" You know, like why we gotta be friends? Like, I do a daily Star Wars podcast with Jason Ward, who's if you want to know all the inside stuff going on right now with Kenobi, that's the place to go. He has the real info.
Yeah, he
He's been doing
does.
this shit for like almost 20 years. He's super good, and but he's lives out in California where I'm from there, and so it's just like I don't want to go back.
Look,
I'll
I gotta
miss
go
it.
back. This is
I'll miss it. You know, I mean, look, I miss little parts of like they have not Little Tokyo, but they have wow, I'm brain
let's say,
farting right now.
let's say,
No,
I
the
miss
fucking
everything
store.
San Fran, but hey,
Little Tokyo in LA is fucking weird. The food's not that good. But the
I was saying
what's the
San
fucking
Francisco, but
not
yeah,
Book Off is obviously Book Off is great,
yeah.
but no, not that's a used book. But there's a fucking I'm brain farting the store. It's an actual Japanese chain that's in California, and so they got one up in LA. So I
Oh,
used to live next to one in Claremont or in San Diego when I lived in Linda Vista. So
there used to be one in Cambridge up here.
Mitsuwa. There you
I'm
go,
thinking a different
Mitsuwa.
one, but yeah, okay, Mitsuwa.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of a
Mitsuwa.
different one.
Mitsuwa is great. But I had just learned to make my own katsu curry and shit. So now that I live out in Idaho, I'm like, oh, I'll just make it. It's not that hard.
I'd like to go back to visit San Francisco again, but I don't think I want to live there, so. Too expensive.
From there, I started a magazine for Brazil. Oh, nice. Yeah, the print industry in Japan still thrives, right? So that's so
Mm-hmm.
dope. Gotta tell you, man, I miss reliable public transportation. You know, I was stationed in Germany in the army and didn't have to drive for almost 4 years. The best.
150,000 Brazilians living in Japan.
They have the best barbecue.
Yes, they do. Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah. There was this, there's that chain, Fogo de Chao, but there's another one that we used to, it was actual independently owned Brazilian barbecue place in San Diego down in downtown. It's across from Horton Plaza. And that's where we had our wedding reception. And it was super, they're great.
There's a Brazilian barbecue like right up the street from me that's freaking awesome. But we have a lot of Brazilians in Massachusetts.
These days, magazines. Yeah. I imagine the internet's creeped them up on everybody, right?
Yep. I miss magazines. Just because it's easy to do doesn't mean it's not great to go out to a Brazilian barbecue to get fed.
Yes, it does.
I gotta stop thinking about food right now because I still can't eat solid food.
51 a.m.
Protein shakes, Gatorade Zero. Texas to Brazil. Never been to Texas.
I've been, I just haven't had an extended stay.
Mm.
Um,
Cooking for me in general is difficult these days because of my MS. So, yeah. Most of my stuff I rely on the microwave.
we all suffer under Microsoft. It's no excuse not to cook.
Mm.
Look for a pecan. That's the easy one. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And if you and look, it's not so much a joke, Allison, because they keep forcing us to fucking upgrade our operating systems. So it's like
Yeah, that's true.
dicks, you know, like
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday with the Force updates, weren't we?
yeah, yeah. I just got another one fucking today. I was like, you fucking dicks. Like, even though you do everything you can to shut it off, but
Yeah, you
hopefully, I mean, I do believe MS is something that we can conquer in the next 10 years or so. Like, it just depends on the will, you know.
yeah.
But I do believe it's closer now than it's ever been.
Oh yeah,
And
it
then it will
is.
be like, but will it be affordable for anybody? That's the question, right?
Well, the big thing going on right now in England, they actually are working actively on a cure, um, and they're making pretty good headway.
I do believe it's conquerable. I was reading a giant fucking journal study on it being real. I can't remember. I bookmarked it somewhere. Like I always bookmark shit. I'm like, I'll show this to Jason, and I just fucking forget. But they
Well,
had tied it to something that it was an actual like thing where it was tied to some fucking thing that is actually manageable. Like it's so, but
well,
whatever.
they know that testosterone is something that fends it off. That's why men don't get it as much. Um,
So
but yeah,
just start wearing Axe body spray and drinking
exactly.
some Joe
Start-
Colas, watching some UFC,
I'll be all set.
right?
Get
Listen to
over it.
some Limp Bizkit. Yeah, you'll get over it.
Be great.
Problem's
Start
fucking
watching Joe
solved.
Rogan.
Is there nothing capitalism can't solve, Allison?
Exactly. That hurt a little bit.
What? If you can't laugh under
Oh
your
god,
oppressors, what left have we got,
what else are you
right?
gonna laugh at? But yeah. Yeah, but men who get it tend to get it like 100 times worse. So
And we go hard.
yeah, yeah, you do. Like, what was it when I was in recovery at the uh
I get a man's disease.
exactly you get a man's disease, you get a
Yeah,
man's version, not a girly
yeah. I don't know
version,
what pussy ass
you get a
diseases. You
man's
know what I'm
version.
saying? Like, I keep that shit real. Like,
Oh,
it sounds, whatever, but given with COVID, how fucking they mention, oh, man, it's not so big deal. I'm tough. I'm just like, all right, this is a tough thing, huh? Give me some man-sized cancer. I don't want that pussy
exactly.
ass shit. Fucking assholes.
Go get your pancreatic cancer and have a nice day. Yeah. There's your man's cancer. Oh, what was it? Mm, yeah, when I was at the rehab facility to kind of learn how to walk again, that was fun.
Eh,
Um, there
overrated.
was it's a little bit.
What? Professor X didn't need that shit.
No, no, yeah, yeah. If I could
He
get
ran
his
the X Men.
wheelchair,
He's
oh God,
rich.
will I be happy.
Yeah, he was fucking rich too. So
Yeah,
like you can do anything.
yeah, you can do anything when you're rich. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a guy who was like down in the intensive care unit who was just diagnosed with MS, and he was literally fading every day. They couldn't control it. He was just diagnosed, and it was just different
It does
parts of him would
happen.
fail the next day.
Yeah.
So yes, having MS sucks. Having MS and being male sucks worse.
Hard to be a man.
Not gonna go there.
Could you imagine evil Rob? You know what I mean? I could be a real evil conservative guy, I think.
You could definitely do it.
No, I can't because I have a fucking soul. But
You know what I mean.
right, I'm good at all the excuses. They're all there. I just,
I think Psychotech got it right with that. Huh.
yeah, yeah. Got a point. Got a point. It's tough.
He's not arrested yet? I'm surprised. One of my neighbors has been having some issues with his girlfriend that involves a restraining order. Needless to say, I'm not going anywhere near him.
Yeah, domestic violence is fucking horrible.
Yep. He's a big angry guy that likes to get drunk. It's another one of those fun situations of there's a lot of guys on one side of the street, not on the other. Girl crosses the street.
Get some elephantitis. You could tell Hector's age when he brings up elephantitis.
Oh yeah,
Jason did that
definitely.
like a couple months ago, and I'm like, elephantitis is such a
Elephantitis.
80s. Every kid was afraid of that because of the elephant man. They're like, you
Yeah.
have elephantitis in the nuts. Like, you never hear the end of it. Every fucking kid's worst nightmare in junior high. That and quicksand, you know?
Yep, quicksand. I don't know how I got through life with all the quicksand, just
Yeah.
gotta say.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, they end up getting them giant fucking ball sacks because they were eating too much Taco Bell. You know, like they were worried about elephantitis and never thought about what
Whatever
fucking
the hell it is,
a
the
box of
Taco
10
Bell.
fucking, burrito supremes would do to you every fucking week. You know, now they're all packing man-sized uteruses. Like,
Gotta watch out for those man-sized uteruses.
yeah, you've seen them. They're like
Yep.
totally avoidable, but can you do?
This is
Food's
another
cheap.
great conversation that's gone off the rails.
Yeah. 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 I'm in one of those moods today.
There's nothing wrong with that. Was it last weekend? Yeah, last weekend the cops were banging at the neighbor's door several times. I was just like, what the hell's going on over there? I'm just gonna stay here and hide. I'm way too boring. So, oh, I have to get on to making Star Wars again soon. Talk to Jason.
He's got a lot of people on right now, even to the point where he's got Max. He'll have Max and Jesse on, and when those two are on, like Max is great. She she's either it's weird. She doesn't talk, but she always manages to talk right when you're gonna talk. It's like it's interesting. She just has that weird get you like that. And then
Mm,
Jesse just doesn't shut up. Like he just fucking talks right through anybody. And I even like, a couple times I'm like, you do know you should stop talking when people start talking, right? Like I told him that on the air. Can you not fucking hear we're all trying to talk here, Jesse?
I
And
don't
he
think you
just
know how
keeps
this
talking.
works. Jesse talks. That's it. So,
I'm like, look, if you have a lot to say, come on the show more often. But you don't have to get it all out in one fucking go, dude. Like, like I'm really like I try to be considerate when guests come on or other people because it's like, well, I'm here all every fucking day, so I don't need to.
mm.
If they want to talk, talk. But it was like I let them go for like 15 fucking minutes, man. I'm like, all right, dude. Now someone else talk. So,
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a
yeah,
very lot.
when there's three other people, it's one thing. But when it like when he has way more than that, I told Jason, I'm like, I'll be there for the show, but I don't see me chiming in much when there's fucking six people. Like,
I don't want to be on it when there's six people. I basically want to be on it when it's
yeah,
like you and Jason. So,
yeah.
I mean,
So, but Max is a little out of commission because someone she fucking fucked her car up, dude. It's
oh, that
ridiculous.
sucks.
Yeah, it's horrible, dude. So it's super fucking sucks. Which is fine.
Yeah,
So
I've interacted with her a couple of times. I do like her. So,
yeah, she's fun. No, I
no, I
like
think
everyone on
she,
the show. It's just I'm just
yeah.
like the people that don't do it every day don't realize like you gotta shut up now. I've had to learn. I've gone too far. I've gone back. I rewatch. I listen. When I'm sitting here, so I'm always critiquing myself. Like, and I told Jason, I'm like, when you have a scoop, come out on the show and just fucking get to it. you know,
Yeah.
and then I'll chime in after that.
Yeah.
But
Well, that
Jason
makes
doesn't
sense.
like following that his own rules. Like so, like he'll just start doing. He's like, "What do you think? What do you want to?" And I'm like, "All right, look, I'll play by what I think should happen. But if he wants to goof around, then such is life." But
Mhm. No, I still have to do the ghost hunting show with him.
oh yeah, the EVP thing.
Yeah, the EVPs, all the bullshit things that people think are ghosts. Usually just radio waves. Garbled radio waves that.
No, the one that got me was when they went to that fucking. Unless they made it up, was when the Brendan and what's her face went to that insane asylum and used to be like not insane asylum, you know what I mean, like a home for the
Hmm.
disturbed or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
And they could hear like, I mean, there's no electricity, there's no running water, and you could hear, babies thrashing around in water and shit like that. Like, yeah,
Hmm. That's kind of
yeah,
cool.
it
I'd like to. I'd
yeah,
like to listen to those.
the old coast to coast.
Oh, there's on coast to coast. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say
I
like
used
10
to.
years ago.
I
It's one of
used
the
to
ghost
listen
to
to them.
ghost ones.
Yeah, I used
So
to
it's
listen.
under. If you dig those up, you'll find it.
Yeah. I mean, the only problem with stuff like that and those things, they're easy to fake.
Well, they record them on tape, you know, for
Yeah.
to a lot. So a lot of those fucking things.
Well, they're
But
pre-recorded.
I don't know. Like, look, I hear you, but I've seen some weird shit that I'm the first person to be like, no fucking way it's real. But then I have to go, well, I've seen some weird fucking
I've
shit
seen
that
some
I would
weird shit.
never think,
I've definitely
you
seen some
know.
weird shit. I don't know what
So
it is.
I do give residual energy. If there's enough traumatic energy, I give, you know, the possibility that it's left some kind of weird cosmic scar, and by the way, like a
I've read
fucking
enough comics to believe that.
well that and I've worked security at places that
Oh,
home for the mentally ill, and
oh, I get
I'm just
stories
like,
about that.
and so then I'm like, there's enough trauma going there on a daily basis, and especially back in the '70s when they were still doing electrotherapy shock shit to
Oh, yeah.
people, and so
Now,
like,
if you go like the old Danvers Asylum that they filmed the movie Session 9 at, um, I went in there with the Society of American Magicians because the people who bought the place were like, "Is this place actually haunted?" And they want to turn to condos. And I'm like, "Well, you're going to turn to condos anyway." And they're like, "Yeah, but you got to declare if it's haunted or not." So they brought in a group of magicians to basically be like, "Is it haunted?" And we're like, "Okay, sure." Well, like we went poking around for a bit. I think we did like a weekend in there, and well, we definitely saw some strange shit, but nothing that would be like, "Yeah, it's haunted." There was nothing that made us think it was haunted. Um, Granted, some of the areas we couldn't get into because we would die, so those areas might
yeah,
have been haunted. Uh, there were definitely saw signs of homeless squatting. I think that was more one of our biggest worries.
right,
Uh,
just some rando psycho
yeah,
living down there. Yeah.
yeah. It's also like everybody's like, "Oh, you do these ghost hunts during the night." No, you don't. You go during the day so you can see shit.
Right.
All
Yeah,
those
like
shows,
ghosts
it's
don't
all
know what fucking
bullshit.
time it is. Ghosts don't know what time it
No, that's-
is.
Also,
Anyway,
if you're in a
nice.
foreign country and the ghosts are all speaking English, you're not getting ghosts. Like unless
No,
it's
this
like
was the thing. Like they went to like a Russian thing, and it was all in Russian. Like
if it's all in
so,
Russian, then yeah, I can get behind that. So
yeah, she died. The one that helped form that society. She passed. So I don't know what happened to him after Art left the show and shit. But I know she passed.
I know Art passed too.
Oh yeah, he passed.
He passed a few years ago.
Uh, drug overdose. Actually, too many
Yeah.
too many pills. Too many pain pills. I read the autopsy.
Mm. Yeah, when I used to have insomnia and couldn't sleep at night, I used to throw them on in the middle of the night to listen to. Art Bell, Coast to Coast with Art Bell.
He really let me down in the later years because he was so pro-Trump.
Yeah.
The Donald, that fucking shit when he was on Midnight in the Desert or whatever.
Mm. I didn't really think that it just didn't strike me as right with him that he'd be like pro Donald. But yeah, I was.
Well, he was a libertarian, so this is just
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Republicans who don't want to pay taxes.
basically.
They want to pay even less tax. They want. It's just. It's all big. You know, I've learned the code words. You know, so it's a bummer, but I mean, what can you do? So
Hmm.
you know, I don't think Alex. I mean, Alex. George, fucking Art
Mm.
was not for Alex Jones and them guys. So I imagine he would be one of those guys who was like, "Well, I'm not for the Capitol, the January 6th. That's ridiculous." He wouldn't have been for that, but
No.
you know, he's definitely he was definitely like, "We got to protect our borders," kind of guy. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
you
You gotta
know
pick
this
a
fucking dude.
from what?
The guy helped invade Vietnam. You know, he wants to talk about fucking borders. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
like, you,
Protect our borders. What are we protecting them for? People to come in and pick our fruit?
from the gangs are gonna kill us all. Yeah, oh, okay, all right, okay. You know, could decriminalize these drugs and put most of the gangs out of business, but
Yep.
can't do that either. You know, like
Did it in Portugal, and it worked.
so just cut off their money. But destabilizing regions, as we know,
I
is a useful tool of the CIA. So
don't know what you're talking about. I mean, this whole Ukraine thing. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't get that.
well, that has nothing to do with the CIA.
Well,
But I just like it when they claim it's NATO
we had a little bit
overreach.
of a hand in that, but not
NATO
completely.
NATO's everywhere, and I'm like, look at the map of Russia, dude. They're surrounded by like NATO, right on the left, right on the right, everywhere in between, no NATO.
Yeah,
The problem is
exactly.
you people Americans get really used to looking at globe space where America's in the center. Like
Yep.
that's the problem.
That was
They
that
didn't
was actually
they didn't
something that was. You finish first.
that didn't dawn on me until I lived in Germany. I'm like, and their maps are Europe centric. I'm like, the
Europe
map's
in the
wrong.
center.
Like, no, you idiot. Like, it's just wherever you're at. That's where
That's
they
the map you
put the
get.
map. Yeah, I was like,
I was just gonna say
clever.
I was in Western Civ, and we were studying Western civilization. The world map we used had Europe in the center.
Right.
Changes your perspective on things. Uh, no, the one thing I'll say about the Ukraine thing, it's like, wow, I was scared of the Russian army. So,
No, I knew about their problems when I was stationed in Germany
mm,
because Russian soldiers at the time were on the streets begging for food because the leadership at the top would sell their supplies to like other countries to make money.
mm,
So what we're afraid of is nuclear weapons. You take nuclear weapons off the fucking table.
yeah, exactly.
What they don't tell you is the a lot of the elite fighters that came out of Russia in the World War II were actually from Ukraine.
Mm,
You know, they just omit all that shit. So, you know,
yep.
but I'm not proud of the fact that our fucking military is so good at war because we've been at it nonstop for 20 fucking years. It's not something to be
It
proud
doesn't
of.
stop. It
And
just
we could
doesn't
kick
stop.
everyone's because they just siphon all of our fucking public funds, into the military side of fucking things. For what? Like no roads, no medical, no nothing, no dental, no education, just government. So it's a like they say, as you get older, if you're actually learning shit, there's no easy answers. Sometimes it feels like there's no answers. It gets so difficult.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm,
the more you know, the less you can fucking make a real and decision. You're like, hmm, you
yeah.
know.
Shit.
I do know there is always one answer that will work no matter what for everything. If there is one answer, was that theory the one answer for everything? The unified theory.
Mm,
Was that Einstein? The unified. There's a unified theory, an answer for everything. It is n- no corruption, right? Less
yep.
corruption. Less
Yep.
corruption is always the answer for everything,
Mm,
right? You can
yep.
never eliminate corruption, but you can get less corruption.
Yeah.
You
You
can
can
be
get
in the
less of it.
pursuit. Yeah, you can be in the pursuit of less corruption, and less corruption will improve everyone's fucking well-being on the planet. So, did you water this turtle? I don't know, man. Um,
That's your
maybe,
answer. I believe it.
maybe I gotta start doing it. So it's a whole thing. That's the goal.
Mm,
I don't know if I'll stream it. I gotta color the scribblies, but digi watercolor probably. I'll probably do that. I haven't really thought about it, so I have to get going on it. Um, the thing is with the digi watercolor, like, it's not gonna work so much for like my game development stuff. So I have to do a little bit of everything,
mm.
kind of deal. Alrighty. Well, I would say I'll probably make more changes here and there on the inks, but that'll be on like my end. I'll just tweak it. So it's getting there. I just gotta remember how I did certain things. So part of me is like, how did I do that?
Mm.
I forget. So part of me is still trying to remember how I did it, but works enough. Works enough. Let's merge
I'm liking it.
all of that.
You merge it down to one layer.
Yeah, I just merge it. Why did I need? I only make new layers so I don't have to undo.
Down to erase. So, no.
Yeah, undo.
Yep.
So beats a bunch of undos. So we go from this
Yeah.
to this to that, right?
Yeah. No, I just noticed you were deleting some layers. I'm like, oh, you merged all to one. Okay.
I gotta get color pencil going here in a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a break, go eat some breakfast since it's noon. I can eat
Noon.
now, and
Two.
then I'll be back on probably in an hour or two, and then I'm gonna get this color pencil done so I can get this in the mail. So,
Very cool. All
all right,
right,
everybody,
Rob.
thanks
Well,
for hanging out.
yeah. See you later, everyone.